Thank you, Mr. President. Prior to being in the Senate, I was on the Spring Lake Park School Board with experience working with our SROs. In fact, Mr. President, one of the first things I did when I got elected to the school board and got on the school board is I did a walk around, walked the halls of our high school with our school resource officer, and that was a really tremendous experience, Mr. President. You could learn more in that exercise than you ever could just by listening to administrators talk about it. That school resource officer really knew what was going on in that high school and had established really good relationships with the students and was doing really good work. After the law was changed last year, Mr. President, that law impacted my district, specifically 3 of the 4 high schools, Mr. President, in my district that serve the students in my district are currently without school resource officers. So this one really hits home. And I did a press conference way back several months ago to try to ask the governor to call a special session so that we could address this issue. And I was calling back then for a simple repeal. And Mr. President, that's what this amendment does. In fact, this amendment's a little bit better because what it does is it repeals what was done last year, but it also keeps in the reporting requirement. And the good thing about that, Mr. President, is that then we can go forward, we can collect some data, we can know what we're talking about if any of these other additional things in this bill are necessary. There are no documented cases of abuse by school resource officers or instances where the existing use of force standard is insufficient to keep our students safe. And that's what this is about, keeping our students safe. And as we learned last year, if we don't know if there's a problem, we can't identify a problem, we certainly don't know what that problem might be, this legislature should not be in the business of micromanaging and coming up with how our school resource officer program is going to be changed and implement a statewide program. We should not be doing that until we have a grasp on if there's an issue and what that issue might be. We should not try to fix a problem that doesn't exist, Mr. President. What this bill does, if we don't adopt Senator Pratt's A3 amendment, is it creates mandated, legislatively created duties, training, and a mandated policy by the legislature. Again, without the information that we need to know whether these are appropriate, to whether we know that these are going to be effective. And most importantly, we don't know right now whether or not the ambiguity that caused our school resource officers to leave in the first place may creep in again through this model policy. Mr. President, school resource officers do a fantastic job. They serve a vitally important function in our schools. They keep our kids safe. Mr. President, they deserve clarity on this. And we should not be adding more things to the laws that could create more ambiguity. We need to do it in a more methodical way if we're going to do it at all.